will follow these motion palpation schemes perfectly. Or Dr. Power or I are going to take off. They're going to follow this exact scheme. Okay, so this is the way we're going to be. Come out a little bit. Okay, put your cold hand on the patient's ankle. A little cryotherapy helps that.
That's what cryotherapy is.
Nothing. Yes, $7. You have to hold it a certain length of time, and you're not going to want to do it. Okay, so yeah, this is like hilarious.
You're a star.
You are. You're going to be all over YouTube.
Yeah, I know I'm already there.
You are.
What we're going to do is we're going to start with our motion palpation of our talus, right? And what are we going to do? Full dorsal and plantar flexion. And we should feel the talus sliding underneath that mortise joint, right? And if it's not coming forward the way we like, we're going to look for a posterior talus. And if it's not going backwards when we dorsiflex it, then we're going to be looking for an anterior talus. We're also going to add some eversion and some inversion and some eversion. We're looking to see if the talus maybe has come anterior and medial or anterior and lateral, right? Has everybody got that? All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to stabilize the talus, and we're going to come down here. We're going to grab onto the navicular, look for the navicular tubercle, take a good hold of it this way, and you're going to move it up and down while you're stabilizing the talus. Next thing you're going to do is stabilize the navicular tubercle, come down to the first cuneiform, and you're going to motion it this way. Then you're going to stabilize across the navicular and the cuboid here, and we're going to work our way down the second metatarsal, and we're going to be motioning the second and then, of course, the third cuneiform, also known as the medial and lateral cuneiform. Then we're going to come over here, stabilizing into the cuboid, motion palpating the fifth metatarsal head proximal, and turn the patient this way, stabilize the calcaneus in this fashion, grab onto the cuboid, and we're going to move it up and down. Then stabilizing in on the talus, we're going to grab the calcaneus, and we're going to do like a figure 8 motion palpation on this. Okay, has everybody got that?
Do we do side to side, or do we do one foot and then the other foot?
You always start with a good side. But you don't do all of these. Like if say Dr. Power says you have a medial inferior navicular, then you're only just going to examine the navicular. Okay? Right? It's first cuneiform. Okay? So it's the only one you have to do. You do the good side, then you do the bad side, and you will do them both. Okay? Then you're going to come out here. We're going to palpate the distal metatarsal heads. That one's not moving very well. She jumped a mile. That one's not moving very well either. But you really don't do that in a comparison just to the one side. You always look at the good side first. Okay? But just from feeling these a lot, none of those are moving real well in there. You should have good motion in this. Okay? All right, any questions about that? If you're going to motion for an inversion sprain, I want you to just take the person like this, motion it like this, put your thumb across this sore spot, put your thenar on top of that. You see how I'm doing this? And motion it just like this, up and down. It's just basically doing some eversion and some dorsiflexion, right?
If someone actually hasn't trained on it, they're going to hit you with a big foot if you do that?
Yep.
You just keep your elbow up or something. I don't know. You know, here's the thing. When you're examining someone, you're examining them. Can it be uncomfortable? Anybody ever get examined what was uncomfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think you know what you're doing then.
Yep.
Yeah. Have them chew on a towel or something. I don't know. But the thing of it is yes, it can hurt. It can hurt. Remember when you took your arm to your mom and said, look, this hurts, and she like cleaned it out and everything? Did it hurt?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it's just, you just got to do what you have to do in order to help your patient. And they realize it hurts. So. And no, they better not kick you. You're not allowed to kick your chiropractor. Okay, so that's the motion palpation scheme. Is there anything else in here that we missed that we didn't go over? No.
Eversion sprain or no?
No. Okay, so what we're going to do here is we're going to do the talus adjustments. If it's a straight anterior talus, we're going to take it this way. We're going to traction it. We're going to set it down, right? Back in there. If it's gone anterior and lateral, we're going to add some eversion when we're setting it in. And if it's gone anterior and medial, we're going to add some inversion when we're setting the bone back in the position it needs to go. Okay?
That's chiropractic index finger.
Chiropractic index finger.
Are you on the edge of the table?
you can't have the patient move back, probably a good idea, okay? Stabilizing everything here a little better. Good. Move them back, okay? Okay, after that, we can, we'll get to the posterior talus in just a minute, okay? Posterior talus in a minute. If we're going to adjust the navicular, I want you to come up underneath the navicular with your thenar, grab onto the dorsum of the foot like this with the palm of the hand, grab all the way around the foot if you can, getting a good hold in there. You're going to plantar flex, and you're going to invert, and you're going to make your adjustment this way. If it's the first cuneiform, one way to do that is just slide up a little bit. Same thing, now just motion it. When you're taking it to tension, just bring the next joint into tension, thrust it up, okay? Since we have her in this position, let's just keep going through all these adjustments that we would do from here. The distal metatarsal heads, you just grab a good hold of it, and you're going to lift it up on the distal metatarsal head with this part of your finger right here, okay? Or if it's the first one, you can grab it like this with your thenar, pull it this way, set that up. Or you can pull it like, just ignore your patient. And you just take this like this, make your adjustment up, okay? But each one of these, you take them all individually. Remember that. Individual, get a good hold, make sure you're specific. Lift that metatarsal head up, okay? Everybody got that? We're going to have you rotate just a little bit this way. For the cuboid, we're going to stabilize what bone? Calcaneus. And as we're stabilizing this with our fingers, I'm coming up with the same thenar right up underneath that cuboid, right? So you can see your thumbs just sort of run up along that lateral malleolus, fingers behind, and take the patient's foot. You're going to plantar flex, and you're going to evert, and you're going to shove it back up this way, okay? When you're going to do the anterior calcaneus, if it's anterior and lateral, what you're going to do is you're going to come anterior medial, you're going to come this way, stabilizing as much in here into the talus as you can, and you're going to just set that back this way. And if it's lateral, same exact mechanism, stabilization in here and thrust. Okay? And don't forget to add some torque when you're making that adjustment. Okay, let's try some prone ones. Anybody have here? Okay, some of the adjustments that we'll do in the prone position, we'll do the cuneiforms. You can do the first, second, or third. Make sure you know your landmarks and where you are. So if you're going to do the first cuneiform, it's a thumb on thumb. And you still want to do a little bit of spreading on the lateral side. You can't do anything on the medial. There's nothing medial to it. And you're going to keep the foot in a neutral position and thrust. If you're going to move over into the second one here, come on down. This one you can actually pull the first cuneiform away and the other one. Remember I told you guys, you take your contact and you just sort of spread those cuneiforms away this way. Keep it neutral and thrust. Same with the third one. Keep it neutral and thrust. Some people do this. I don't care if you do that on the test, that would be fine. I just find it works better when you hold the foot neutral, make your adjustment that way. Another one that you do in the prone position is a posterior calcaneus. And when you're making your adjustment on the posterior calcaneus, you should use your outside hand. So when I'm making my adjustment, I'm going to come, if it's straight posterior, it's a web across the dorsum of the foot, and the heel, excuse me. If you don't know the contact points, please drag me over to Charlie, because we're going to make sure you know how to do it, and you have to point to Matras. You're going to go straight forward this way, or you're going to go forward and torque this way. If it's gone posterior and lateral, if it's gone posterior and medial, you'll torque it this direction. Okay? What else was there? Oh, posterior talus, very good. So, you know when you're doing the posterior talus, what side are you going to be on? The inside or the outside? What? The inside, yes. Why? That's where it is. Well, it's actually in here in between these. It sits under the mortise joint, but you really can't get on it with the lateral side because you run into this lateral malleolus. But it does sit right underneath the tibia, so you want to get underneath there. You have to be a little careful. The patient needs to be relaxed. You're sliding this, the Achilles tendon just a little bit out of your way, stabilizing right and again on the distal tibia, and you're going to thrust down. For the posterior calcaneus, you're stabilizing the talus. Okay, posterior calcaneus is the talus. What?
Ankle.
Just the inversion sprain. Is that the anyone look? Oh, fifth metatarsal head. Very good. So we'll bring the patient up this way. We're going to find the fifth metatarsal head. Put your thenar on there. Grab onto the patient's foot. Grab a hold this way so you can control the patient's foot. Put them into dorsiflexion, and I want you to evert it, and you can just drive that straight down again. Okay. And if it is an inversion sprain, take the patient this way, hand over just like this. Take the patient here, this way is the way I want you to do it. Restore the patient back in the direction they have to go. And when you thrust this, you're pulling on the calcaneus hairs. You're also pushing the talus up and under. So you're going to have to add some dorsiflexion and some eversion. Depending on where you find that restriction when you're motion palpating, you're going to add traction and set it up under.